Everyone. In today's video, I wanted to answer a question that I've actually gotten several times, both on videos on this channel. By the way, if you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. If you like what I'm doing here, go ahead and hit like on this video and any other video that you find useful. And if you have questions about how you can see the software that I'm about to show running on your own data, well, there's some links down in the description below to get in contact with me, schedule some time with me, and get this all running on your data that you've generated in Cherwell. So, without further ado, the question that I've been getting is basically, will this work on my custom business objects? And the answer is yes. Short answer is yes. Um, Actually, the long answer is yes as well. The answer is yes. But why just say yes when I could show you exactly how that works? So let's get into a demo. All right. So here's Cortex. Here's the main screen. And I've mentioned in previous videos that this dropdown shows a list of all of the business objects in the system. And I've mentioned in previous videos that I'm running this on the Cherwell demo database. I think that's where some of the confusion comes in. I'm using the Cherwell demo database because it's a, a copy of a database that everyone has access to. If you're using Cherwell, you have access to it because it's part of the installer. So this is something that you can stand up a local dev instance of Cherwell, restore the Cherwell demos are, see what it's supposed to look like in Cherwell, and then come over to Cortex and see that it looks exactly the same. That's the only reason. I will start deviating from that here shortly, just because there are some things that I want to show off coming up that aren't necessarily in the demo database. But I'll highlight exactly what that means and exactly what that's going to look like in a future video. So short version is that I'm using the Cherwell demo database and demoing using that database because it's something that everybody either has some familiarity with or can have some familiarity with. And because they all have access to it, right? You don't necessarily need to have access to the database that I'm running on because you already have it. So, long story short, this is all stuff that you can find in the Cherwell demo database. An incident is the kind of the standard go-to business object because most people are starting from the ITSM perspective. Whether you have this particular incident or you've most likely customized it extensively, it doesn't matter. Cortex will handle it just fine. Similarly, if you go to browse by business object, this list comes from the Cherwell demo database. And the reason it comes from that is not because I hard coded this list in based on what's in the Cherwell demo database. I am looking at SQL and listing out all the tables. Well, listing out all the major business objects that show up in the database, right? Same thing with supporting objects and lookup tables. But we're going to stick to major objects. So notice that there is no business object here called test business object. Well, of course, that's not a thing in the Cherwell demo database, but that will become relevant in just a minute. Over here, I have my demo Cherwell instance, and I've created a blueprint. Sorry if this is a little small. I don't think I can increase the font size here, unfortunately. But I've created a blueprint and I've created a new business object called test business object. I didn't do anything fancy with it. I just created a new business object, added a public ID because if I didn't, it prevented me from actually saving it to the blueprint. And that's it. I may have added a field to the form, but we're actually not going to be able to see the form in this video. Um, I thought about doing that, but the demo would be a little too long. Um, but this is a blueprint. It creates a new business object. Let's go ahead and publish that blueprint. And I should have unchecked the scan blueprint button, but it'll give us a chance to talk about kind of what I will do next. So then I'm going to go back to Cortex and basically refresh the the defs. When Cortex starts up, I cache the defs that are in the database just so it doesn't have to go back to SQL every single time you're trying to view anything. But that means that if something changes, I have to refresh that. Not an issue most of the time because your data won't be changing, right? That's the whole purpose behind Cortex, is that you have data from Sharewell and you want to get access to it. It's archival data. It's not changing. Of course, in this case, I did make a change, so I need some way to get Cortex to recognize that change. And in just a minute here, once we go through all of the languages, I suppose, um, and pet my cat here, who decided to come visit for the demo. Okay, warnings. Errors. Okay, cool. Now we're publishing. And in just a second here, we should be good to go. I think it's actually published. Yeah, okay, here we go. Blueprint's published. So now we can go back here and if you do /reset, this will reload the cache of the XML defs. And when it's done, it'll land us back on the home screen. Here we go. Let's go to Browse by Business Object. And there we go. Test Business Object. Now, of course, there are no um, records uh, for that business object, so it's not actually going to show anything on this screen if we try to drill into it. Uh, but all of your custom business objects have records, so you will be able to see the grid for them, the default grid that you've defined, drill into individual records, and see all of that without any issues. So, long story short, the answer to will Cortex work on my custom business objects is an unequivocal yes. Absolutely. Cortex has done that from the very beginning because I knew that was going to be the question. That's the thing that people actually care about. It doesn't matter if it runs on the Sharewell demo database. It matters if it runs on your data. So Cortex, as it ships right now, can run on your data right now in the state that it's in. No configuration necessary. The only thing that's required to get Cortex running on your data is to tell Cortex where your data lives, and Cortex does the rest. So if you want to see that, get in touch with me, reach out. Again, links in the video description. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. And I look forward to seeing you either in the next video or seeing Cortex running on your database. Thanks for watching.